back. So as we said last week, we are in Bayeux this week. Quite a nice place to be and a beautiful sunny day to be here. So we're going to check out some of the other sites in Bayeux. Obviously, if you look on YouTube, everybody who comes to Bayeux goes to see the Tapestry. We have seen the Tapestry, and we'll stick some photos in here, but we're going to see what else Bayeux's got to offer. So don't forget to subscribe and let's get exploring.
So a little fact about Bayeux is it was actually founded in the 1st century BC and it adopted the Roman culture. Underneath the church, the cathedral, and also what's now the post office, archaeologists have discovered some ancient Roman baths.
Baths, for those of you that don't understand.
But you can't see them now because I think they've been destroyed. But it's still interesting. So by the 3rd century, Bayeux had a massive wall built all the way around it as a defence mechanism because there was a lot of Vikings trying to invade the region. And that wall remained in place until the 18th century. So it stayed there for 1500 years. Sorry, my maths isn't very good. And you can still apparently see some of the wall now, although it was destroyed, though you can still see a map of the wall on the floor. So we're going to have a look and see if we can find it, but I'm not sure we'll be able to. What's behind me now is the old hospital of Bayeux that was built in about the 17th or 18th centuries. And we're stood in what would have been the old gardens just behind the convent. So we're going to walk through the gardens just behind, and these buildings here also house what's now the Tapestry. So as Matt said, we're not going to go and see the Tapestry, but we'll see. So as I said, there was lots of Viking raids in the area during the early part of the millennium. And in the 9th century, this city was completely destroyed by the Vikings that raided Normandy. It was an important defence place. We're only about 5 or 6 kilometres actually away from the sea. And what I didn't know was that it was a really important place to defend pirates from coming into the region. So yeah, there were pirates. They were pirates. So yeah, it was a really important defensive place.
So earlier we were speaking about the Tapestry, and I know Jess has mentioned a little bit about it. So what is unusual about Bayeux, and what I think is misunderstood with this place, is that the Tapestry isn't actually anywhere that's really obvious. So we're down this almost like alley, surrounded by concrete, and the Tapestry is off just to our left here, completely out of sight, which is quite incredible.
So the reason that Bayeux is so prominent is obviously because of the Tapestry, which tells the story of the Battle of Hastings, which I'm sure everybody learnt a little bit about in school, 1066, the Battle of Hastings, and it shows William the Conqueror's conquering of Normandy in the 11th century. And his brother, Odo, who was Earl of Kent at the time, built the cathedral that we're going to go and see. And it was finished in 1077, and some parts of it are still there from the 11th century. William the Conqueror made Bayeux his capital city during the Battle of Hastings and the Normandy conquest, but it started to lose prominence a bit later on, where he made Caen his capital. So Bayeux was very much the secondary town until World War II, where it was very important again, which we'll come to later.
I get dressed up to go downtown. I'm all messed up on a Friday night. Not really here for a good time.
This is part of the old Roman wall that would have been rebuilt loads of times over the centuries. It's 3.5 meters thick, and this is pretty much all that remains. So archaeologists excavated 24 meters of the wall to try and find out when it had been rebuilt. And I think under this glass, not that you can see because it's really misted up and loads of weeds are growing in it, but I think that there's actually part of the old Roman wall, whereas this bit here would have been more like from the 14th, 15th centuries. But still impressive nonetheless. And it's right in front of the beautiful cathedral. So next we're heading into the cathedral.
This is my pity party, pity party. If my highs are highs, my lows are low. Need to blow off some steam to get back up. I'm not someone you should cheat on, 'cause when I come back strong. Raise your glass to the sky. Let's toast to that. All these people can stare. I don't care about that. This is my pity party. I'm gonna cry all night and I'll flip the bird at the guys. I don't need nobody. This is my pity party. I'll do just what I want, yeah. I'll dance on top of the bar. I won't come down on it. Yeah, I'll just do what I want. This is my pity party, pity party. I'm gonna drink all night and then I'm gonna let the tears fall down. I'm gonna dance all night and yeah, I'm gonna let it all out. I'm gonna drink all night and then I'm gonna let the tears fall down. I'm gonna let it all out. This is my pity party, pity party. If my highs are highs, my lows are low. Need to blow off some steam to get back up.
So as you saw, we just went inside the cathedral, and what I find fascinating about it, you can go into the crypt, which is always a bit creepy, but the wall art and the paintings are still there, and they are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old. And because it's been underground and there's been no natural light to it, they've just been so well preserved. So it's really interesting to see all the different colours that they'd have had available and all of the artwork for the crypt. And there is still as well some of the wall carvings. I managed to get a little bit of video, but it's quite far away because it's so high up. Some of the wall carvings are from the 12th century. So although it's been rebuilt over the years, there is still some of the original artwork, and it would have been the original place, historians think, that the tapestry would have been displayed, which to us makes a lot more sense. So this behind me was the Bishop's Palace in the 18th century, and you can't quite grasp the size of this tree, but this tree was planted in 1797 after the end of the French Revolution, and it's known as the Liberty Tree. I think I've got that right. Yes, a Liberty Tree was planted in the square. So it's been here for a really, really long time, and it is humongous.
I found my heart again. You were standing there, you bravely led me in. I could wait a million years or more until you came knocking at my door.
So I said that there was interesting information here from World War II. Now Bayeux was mostly spared from the bombings of the local area because all of the Allies and the Germans were all in Caen trying to defend Caen instead. So much of what you can see now is original from the Middle Ages, which is, I think, quite interesting.
It's hard to be this real. We can play our favorite song, dancing to it all night long. With you I feel something, 'cause we're both so unashamed. We're not playing any games.
Bayeux was the first city to be liberated by the Allies during World War II, and I'm sorry, I am reading it. And on the 16th of June 1944, General Charles de Gaulle made a speech in Bayeux which made it clear that France sided with the Allies. Just down the road, I'm hoping we can get time to go and visit it. There is the largest British war cemetery in the whole of Normandy, and it has just under 4,000 graves. So hopefully we can swing by and have a quick look in there. This is the park dedicated to General Charles de Gaulle, and it's where he made that famous speech that we spoke about earlier. It's a beautiful place, beautiful fountain, and it's a lovely place for a spot of lunch.
I waited a million years before, and I'd do it all again just to make sure. Yeah, it's hard to be this real. We can play our favorite song, dancing to it all night long. With you I feel something, 'cause we're both so unashamed. We're not playing any games. Yeah, it's hard to be this real. We can play our favorite song, dancing to it all night long. With you I feel something, 'cause we're both so unashamed. We're not playing any games.
Okay, so we have just finished up exploring Bayeux. the sun's really starting to beat down now.
And it's starting to get really busy.
And it is getting busy. It's just around lunchtime. So we're gonna hop back in the car and we're gonna head to a British War Memorial just outside Bayeux.
Yeah, it's only like 3 kilometres, but...
So we thought we'd go and check that out. So let's go and have a look. So we have just arrived at the British War Memorial. To get here, it's literally only about 3 kilometres.
It's not far.
But
we're just being lazy.
We did miss the car park on the way here. We'll put a what 3 words in the description as to where exactly this is, because it's kind of in the middle of a main road and
it's a bit odd.
Leclerc and things are back down that way. So yeah, it's a strange one, but it's a beautiful place. So we're gonna have a look around. This memorial that we've come to here is the final resting place of a soldier called Sidney Bates. For those of you that don't know who that is, he was in charge of a platoon down in Sordeval in France, and his platoon got attacked by a series of German soldiers. So he picked up a light machine gun that he found on the floor and started to charge. He was shot twice, but continued to fight against the Germans, and then shot a 3rd time, which was the shot that would eventually kill him. But he continued to fight and managed to get the German platoon to withdraw and save 140 men. And then he kept fighting until 2 days later he was given the news in hospital that his platoon was safe and that the Germans had withdrawn, and he passed away that night. And he has since then been given the highest honours that any serviceman can be given in the UK. So it's quite a touching story and an amazing place to come and see if you're in the area.
So this cemetery here at Bayeux is the largest British war memorial in the whole of France. And here there are just over 4,000 graves. 3,935 of them belong to the British soldiers that lost their lives during the war. There's about 466 German soldiers buried here, and the rest are from all over the world. There's somebody from South Africa, a couple from France, Australia, Canada. And it really is a huge, huge memorial, and it's so beautifully done. Every single row of gravestones has some beautiful flowers in it. So I think we've come at the right time of year to see all of the flowers.
Okay, so we're probably going to end our vlog here today. And we've obviously seen a different side of Bayeux, which is quite nice to see, something a bit different other than the tapestry, which is obviously what it's well known for. So next week, we're not quite sure where we're going to be just yet. Back to not knowing.
It's a surprise.
It is. It's a surprise for you guys and us. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. Give us a thumbs up and ring the little bell to notify you when our next video is out. And we will see you guys next week.
See you next week.
Bye.